No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here is open for you. This door is open to you. This door is open. I'm talking about this door. This door is open. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Unity.
Morning.
So happy that you have all joined us this morning. Please sing with us. We're coming together. I've got love.
I've got love.
I've got peace.
I've got peace.
I've got joy flowing like a river. I've got love.
I've got love.
I've got peace.
I've got peace.
I've got joy flowing like a river. One heart,
One heart.
one mind,
One mind.
one love flowing like a river. I've got hope.
I've got hope.
I've got strength.
I've got strength.
I've got faith. Move every mountain. I've got hope.
I've got hope.
I've got strength.
I've got strength.
I've got faith. Move every mountain. One heart.
One heart.
One mind.
One mind.
One love. Move every mountain. I've got you.
I've got you.
I've got me.
I've got me.
I've got us.
I've got us.
Coming together. I've got you.
I've got you.
I've got me.
I've got me.
I've got us coming together. One heart,
One heart.
one mind,
One mind.
one love.
Coming together.
Coming together.
Coming together.
Coming together.
Coming together.
Yeah, coming together.
Coming together.
Yeah, coming together.
Coming together.
Oh, one heart,
One heart.
one mind,
One mind.
one love, coming together. One heart, one mind, one love, coming together. All together. One heart, one mind, one love, coming together. Yeah, good job.
Good morning. We are coming together. Good morning. Good morning. All right, I'm Beth O'Shields. I'm your administrator. My pronouns are she and her. It's a pleasure to be holding the platform this morning. Today, as we continue our summer speaker series, as we welcome back Reverend Dr. David Alexander. I know a lot of you came just for that. We're pleased that you're here. It's always a compelling invitation to social action, and we appreciate that about you. All right, I have a little business to take care of right at the top. If you drove a white Subaru Forester, Oregon plates, KCEN, in the parking lot, we need you to pull forward about 4 feet, and Erasmo is going to be out there to help guide you forward. He'll meet you in the parking lot. Thank you so much. We've got a tight lot out there, you know, and if you just don't pull in, you can't get out. So anyway, he's out there to help whoever's car that is. So thank you in advance. I will mention Reverend Lisa will be back in a couple of weeks as our speaker on September 6th, and then we'll continue with our summer speaker series. We have some wonderful speakers and workshops lined up in September, so stay tuned for those. That information will be in your newsletter and on the website. At this time, I am going to ask Annette Boswell, one of our chaplains, beloved prayer chaplains, and co-leader of the chaplain program. She's going to lead you in the opening prayer this morning and then share a little bit about the prayer chaplain program.
Thank you, Beth. Each week our prayer chaplains are available to pray with you. We have one in the front and one in the back. It is confidential, and you can also submit prayer requests in our prayer box online if you want. But we are always available to pray with you at the end. Our prayer chaplains today are Lynn Sowden and Susan Dunn. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Dial a Prayer. Dial a Prayer happens every day, and it's one of our most popular. A lot of us take turns doing Dial a Prayer. It's an inspirational message. You'll get just what you need for the day. We do have magnets in the back with the number on it, and put it in your phone under Dial a Prayer so you can just tap it up every morning and hear a new inspirational message. We thank you for all your support that you give our chaplains. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to pray. Let me pray. We had our retreat this weekend. I'm still kind of in the zone. Okay, let's take a deep breath. As we gather, we unite our mind, our spirit, our souls, and we surround every person here with the love that we feel, with the love of the generations who have come before us, with all the new information and the people that we can surround with love, and take that love and bring it into our world for the week to come. May we know that God is good all the time. And as we listen and learn and sing today, may we feel the joy that is always available to us. And so it is. Amen. Thanks.
All right, now is the time where we are going to share some announcements with you this morning. I want to admit next Sunday, fifth Sunday of the month, every fifth Sunday of the month, our youth ed does Lunch for a Love offering. It's always a great time. It's a wonderful treat. You can support them not only by staying and eating, but you can always check in with Barbara and see if they need any food support for next week to help them. Busy time of year for those families down in youth ed with school starting and everything, and the Uniteens just got back from their Unitreat this past week. And you know, I will tell you, these lunches, these little fundraisers that they do, that supports these kids being able to go to camp and to their retreats and their rallies. And so you're going to hear a little bit more about that after the service when the kids come in. So our social action team is all about educating us on what's happening in our world, sharing with us ideas on how we can create the world that we want to live in. And next Sunday after lunch, 1 o'clock, they're going to be doing a screening downstairs. They're going to start sharing these little documentaries with you. It's a 30-minute documentary. It's called An Ordinary Insanity. It's by a renowned whistleblower, Daniel Ellsberg. He provides a wake-up call about the global threat posed by nuclear weapons. It's educational, you know, it's sometimes uncomfortable to learn about these things and about our history, but it's really important that we do. And so they're hoping you will join them next Sunday, 1 o'clock, Fellowship Hall. Downstairs, they're gonna show this movie. All right, and they also have postcard packs today out there. You can write postcards to people in different states to help them register to vote, remind them to vote. We have a couple of different projects going on out there, so do check that out today following the service. Course in Miracles is returning in September. Tuesdays, September 8th is when that starts, each week, 10:30 a.m. And we also have a class that's starting up, Awakening to Spiritual Life. And that happens on Wednesdays at 1:30. Carolyn Goolsby runs this wonderful supportive shared experience where you come and learn to apply the spiritual principles that you know and that you hear on Sunday mornings into your life with whatever's happening in our lives. And I don't know about you all, but there's a lot happening in our lives right now. So anyway, it's a wonderful way to connect with others and to just get these ideas more ingrained in your daily life. I will say if you're not receiving our newsletter, we do hope that you will fill out one of these yellow cards there in the backs of the chairs if you've been coming for a while. If it's your first time here, you received a packet on your way in, we hope. And if for some reason we missed you and you didn't get it, our ushers have a handful of those, and they'd love to put one in your hands if you'll just raise it up, and they can make sure that you get one of these packets. As I mentioned, this card is on the back. There's a QR code. We'd love for you to take a shot of that and input all of your information into that database. And that way we can get you the newsletter each week. There's a red rose sticker on the front. We'd love for you to put that on your name tag so we know who you are. And we invite you downstairs today for Coffee and Connection, which is a time after the service where we get together, get to know each other a little more. Reverend Lisa says, you know, we should always learn 3 new names on Sundays after service. So come on down, meet some new friends, connect with old friends. It's a great time. Okay, I think we're going to sing. Yeah?
Awesome.
All right, everybody stand. Let's join in singing this morning.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
I feel the Spirit all around. I feel the Spirit all around. I feel the Spirit all around, all around. I feel the Spirit. I feel the Spirit all around. I feel the Spirit all around. I feel the Spirit all around,
now's the time where you get to share that spirit with each other with a hug, a handshake, or a bow.
1, 2, ready, and 1, 2.
Good morning. All right. Well, that feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. It's our time for our meditation. I lead into the meditation first, and then you sing? Or you do the song first, okay. So I just set the tone. Everybody take a breath. We invite ourselves into this space. I'm glad to see you. Be glad to see yourself. Give yourself a hug. So we just rest into the tone that the music team will set, and then we'll meditate together.
I breathe in the heart of God. I breathe in the heart of God. I love in the heart of God. I love in the heart of God.
breathe into the heart of God. Yes, just like that. Infant, newborn, into the awareness that God is all that there is. That right here and right now we are the divine presence, held in the beloved arms of all that is. The love, the joy, the peace, the creativity, the infinite capacity for compassion and justice and truth. And that for each individual here within the sound of my voice, here and online, that in this moment, Spirit is available for you to receive exactly that which you came to receive this day. Be it through the message or through the music or simply through this moment of breath. All is well. God knows exactly where you are, exactly what's unfolding in your circumstance, life, a moment, and surrounding and filling and infusing you with all that is required to carry you forward to the next step. Breathing in the heart of God. Just take a few moments and just be in that stillness. Once again, taking in a deep cleansing breath. Feeling, knowing, and trusting in the divine presence in, through, and as your life, my life, this life now. I bless this day, this spiritual community, and all that is before us to explore, to discuss, to expand our awareness into, and to return to that heart of God as the very beat and center of our being. For this and so much more this day, I truly give thanks. I release it now and allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is.
I breathe in the heart of God. I breathe in the heart of God. I love in the heart of
Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside is raging, we'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. It is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, and the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changin'. Gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'. Thanks.
Beautiful. Give another hand to our great music ministry here. Great job. Well, good morning. It's great to see you all. For those who don't know me, my name is David Alexander, and my pronouns are he and his, and I am just delighted to be here with you today and next week, so tell a friend. We're going to do this again. And I have been thinking. All right. I've been thinking a lot lately, and I get, for those who don't know, I was here for ministering for about 17 years in the greater Portland area. My family and I moved to Atlanta 6-7 years ago, and just came back almost a year ago now, in October. And so a lot has changed, a lot is moving around, and people are always asking me when I run into people are like, well, what are you doing? And so I tell them, I say, well, my wife's working full time. We came back, she got a job with the city, and it's great. And I'm, taking care of my son, and getting him to school in the morning. And of course, this is summer, entertaining him and going places and doing things, and making sure the laundry's done and the groceries are bought and the food is cooked and all of the things, so that my wife can focus on her career. And we've kind of switched places, and it just feels great. And there's just sort of, so some people, right? Some people it's yeah. Other people, there's just sort of this blank stare, and they go, okay, yeah, but what are you doing? Which by which they mean, I understand, because they're like, you used to do all this stuff, you were here and you were there and you were doing all these things and leading all this stuff with New Thought organizations and whatnot. So like that, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm teaching some stuff online and I'm doing my Substack and whatnot. But mostly I've been thinking. And I've been thinking about this idea of justice as it relates to the New Thought movement, to unity and Centers for Spiritual Living and broader progressive spiritual circles. There's some of those groups that have been in the intersection of justice work and progressive spirituality longer than others, some even local communities longer than others and all of that. But thinking about that space and thinking about what does it require of us, particularly because times they are changing, right? All the stuff that we're holding right now in the world, all the stuff that is in front of us. And what does all of that mean in relationship to this vision that we're cultivating around, whether we call it a world that works for everyone, or a world of peace and wholeness, or a world awakened to its spiritual aliveness, or whatever version of that you have in your consciousness that we hold as spiritual people, that vision of justice, which I also call a vision of wholeness, right? That wholeness, justice is a form of collective wholeness. When we're whole as a being, there's justice in our body, in our mind, in our affairs. When we're whole as a society, there's justice in our politics, in our interactions, and in our affairs. When we're not, then something is misaligned and there's work to be done, right? So what does holding that vision require of us? And one of the things that Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, the tradition, New Thought tradition that I grew up in, one of the things that he says is that if we want to draw some particular good into our life, we have to cultivate a vision of what that is. And he says that the, paraphrasing, but in the Science of Mind, he says, the artist and the scientist and the philosopher all draw a unique particular something into their experience because each one of them courts and cultivates a particular definite something of that universal spirit. And I love the phrase that he uses there, courts, right? To court the divine in a particular way. Courting. Oh, that's so good, isn't it? How many people remember courting? Come on, let me see, right? Courting, that wonderful, juicy time when you're, hi, how you doing? You put on your best, you dress up, you make sure every hair is in place if you got them, and I know, I understand. And you present your best self, and there's this whole song and dance, and all of nature does it, right? You look at the birds, and oh my gosh, some of the male birds do some really, crazy dances and flashy things and whatnot, right? Part of this courting. And what are we doing? We're trying to attract. We're trying to draw in this partnership, this relationship, this greater connection and responsibility to this thing called life into our experience. And so courting requires something of us, and it's not just putting sort of our best foot forward and sort of our song and our dance and our presentation, but that if that is successful, how many people have been successful at courting? Oh, fewer hands, okay. More people remembering courting? I don't mean every time. I just mean, like once or twice in your life is good, right? Okay, we got some work to do. We'll do a workshop on that. Beth, write that down. We need some courting, relationship, something. I don't know. We'll bring people in. And so when we are successful at that, it opens up the opportunity of relationship, right? And then the dance changes. Have you noticed? Right? You notice that moment where it's no longer, when you're courting, it's just you see each other every once in a while. It's that date night. It's that moment. And those moments, everybody's looking their best. Everybody, you've made sure all of your business is handled and all of your stresses are put away. And you're just able to, just shine and just be your best self. And then they get to just shine and just be their best self. And you go, I like this person. And they go, I like this person. And they don't know any of this stuff. Right? But then it changes. If the courting is successful, then you enter into relationship, and eventually you have the opportunity to be present with something a little bit more than just their best moments. Amen, somebody? Yeah. All of a sudden, you get, and then and the test of a relationship is, can you, in fact, be present, not just in my best moments, but with all of this stuff, right? And so it occurs to me that if that's true in relationship, and that the universe is seeking a relationship with us through its creation of us and as us, and our understanding ontologically, theologically, spiritually, etc., that we are seeking that to articulate the relationship with the divine, then all of those sort of same rules apply. That there is this courting that Ernest Holmes talked about. There's this moment of putting on our best and seeking to attract that which we really want. And then there is this deeper relationship opportunity that comes when we get to see, and it says, yeah, but can you be present with this? Can you be present now? And then all of this stuff comes out. And I don't know if you remember those moments in personal relationships, but, it's like, they finally invite you in, and, again, it's just a little bit of that courting. You're like, oh, do come in, yes. And then they're like, oh, what's that? What are those things over there? And you're like, oh, those are all my old things that don't fit anymore. That's all my old, like, what are these? Oh, that's my box of subscriptions. Yes, I see. There's a lot of issues here. See what I did there? And like all that, right? And so the question becomes, can you be present in the midst of all of these things? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. But divine right relationship is finding that space where we can do that. And so I've been thinking a lot about this, about what this moment means for us. I've been here in this community, sitting right over there somewhere, my favorite spot by these windows, I love it, and listening to Reverend Lisa and the Reverend Lisa every week, who we're so blessed to have here in this community. Can we give her some love? Yes. I think the world of her. I think she's fabulous, and she's always telling us that, there's so much in front of us and so much on our plate, but we're so capable and we're so made for this moment. We may not have it all figured out, but we're so made for this moment. And every week I kind of wait for the Thierry Desjardins quote, Right? I know it's coming. I'm like, okay, come on. Another one, which are great, And so we're made for this moment. And I think about this idea of courting this divine, and what is it requiring of us to be present with all of this stuff. New Thought has been increasingly embracing a broader vision of justice, speaking more intentionally about racism and poverty and gender inequality and violence and environmental crisis, on all the systems that prevent people from expressing their true divine potential. And it's I think, an evolutionary necessity within our philosophy to begin looking at all of those things, because we've been courting the divine, and now the divine is saying, and what about all of this? Right? Can you be present in all of this? And there's a time when we move from our individual consciousness, which is not, in the language of our individual consciousness, is not quite adequate for the moment of being present with all of those things, which is kind of the moment I think New Thought is in right now, which is why it's articulating new language and new ways of showing up for these things. And so I don't know about you, but I wrestle with some of the things that are in front of us. I wrestle with what to do about some of the things that are in front of us, some of the crises that are facing us, the homeless crisis, the mental health crisis in our cities, the late-stage capitalism and the political corruption and the resurgence, it seems, of vitriol and hatred in our language, in our politics, and in overt expressions of racism, etc. Anybody else? Yeah? Just a few things, like maybe one or two of those things, right? And it turns out there's a really ancient story that kind of addresses this. It comes from the Tanakh, or the Hebrew Scriptures. Sometimes in Christian settings they call it the Old Testament, but I don't like using that term anymore because it is old, but it is the Testament for Jewish people, right? It's their book of wisdom, and it is complete in and of itself, and it doesn't need a new chapter to make it have its place. Does that make sense? So I don't like using the word Old Testament in particular, but it comes from the Tanakh, or the books of wisdom, or the Torah, the first 5 books it comes from, and it is, in fact, the entire book, the book of Job. And it's about this, about innocent suffering, and it's about injustice, and it's about where is God in the midst of this. And I don't know how much you know about the book of Job, this very ancient story, considered to be one of the oldest, perhaps even older than Genesis and Exodus, one of the most ancient stories that we have that has had many different versions and articulations. And it doesn't get preached in New Thought context very often, right? Because it is this story about kind of suffering and sitting with and all of this stuff. And we don't like that. We like the positive, happy-go-lucky stuff and the health and prosperity stuff. But I think we ought to spend some time with this story just a little bit. And so the book of Job opens, and of course we'll look at it through a metaphysical lens, if that's all right. So just walk with me just a little bit. I promise I'll be gentle. We have 2 weeks. I don't have a big Bible with me. We're not going to quote it or go through it like that. I'm just going to kind of illustrate it a little bit. But it opens in a really interesting way. Most people get into kind of the context of what's happening in terms of the suffering that Job is going through. But the opening is really, really important. And the opening is, it says in the first line that the divine council is gathering. In some translations, it says the angels are gathering. In some of the worst translations, it says the men of God are gathering. Ew. Let's go back to angels or the council, right? But and metaphysically, right, it's the gathering of consciousness, right? A moment of focus. And in that gathering, in that moment of focus, it says, and the adversary, or in most the English translations, it says, and Satan is there. But in almost every translation, even the really bad ones, King James, it will still have an asterisk next to it, and you go down to the bottom and you look it up and it'll say, translated as the adversary. So it's not just a metaphysical twist on the story, but really it's not the kind of Satan or devilish figure that our culture has imagined whenever we see that word in Scripture, but it really is just another aspect of our consciousness. How many people have an adversary? In your own head, right? So the whole council is gathering, the whole of your mind or the whole of consciousness is gathering, and the adversary is there too, the critic, the one that goes, yeah, but. When I was a kid, about around my son's age now, 9, I know my aunt was visiting, and we were traveling, and they would say something about, this we'd be doing on road trips, and they'd mention something and talk about something, and my constant response was, yeah, but what about da-da-da-da-da? And then I'd say, yeah, but what about that? And now my son is constantly interjecting things in our conversations, and I'm like, oh, yes, here it is. But my phrase into all those adult conversations was, yeah, but. So much so that that year for Christmas, my aunt gave me a customized sweatshirt that she had made with iron-on letters that said, yeah, but. I was grateful that we lived in Arizona, and so it was a sweatshirt, and I think by the time it got cold again and I could wear it, I had grown so fast the sleeves were too short. So it's like, well, where's your sweater? Yeah, but anyway. But it's that, it's that adversary, right? It's that one that says, wait a second, what about this? So the whole council is gathering, and it doesn't say what the council is doing, but one has to imagine being a very old story about our relationship with the divine, and given how the rest of the story goes, that the council is gathering to consider this relationship between the divine and creation. Because God says to the adversary, where have you been? Which denotes this idea that the adversary belongs, right? That when the council was gathering, should have been there on time, right? God doesn't say, you don't belong here, get out. God says, where have you been? And the adversary says, roaming amongst the earth. Which, isn't that exactly where our adversarial mind is, right? The council is gathering in heaven. The council is gathering in consciousness. The council is considering all of our prosperity, all of our good, all of our wonderfulness. But the adversary, the Yabat, is roaming in the conditions, in the things, in the circumstances, in the people and places, in the ways in which it doesn't quite look the way we imagine it in our imagination. Is this story beginning to make sense? We're only through 2 lines already, right? And so the council gathers, and the adversary is there. God says, where have you been? In and amongst the conditions, the things, the circumstances, the situations. And then God says, have you considered my servant Job? Have you considered this aspect of my consciousness? Have you considered, which, by the way, let me tell you about him. Job is, he goes on to say, blameless, upright, reverent, prosperous, and then describes him. He has a family. He has like 7 sons and 3 daughters. He has a standing and social standing and good health and property, land, cattle, all of the signs of not just wealth, but opulent wealth. In this time, in this age, in this context that this very old story would be heard, all of the signifiers of he's got it, right? Privileged. Oh, that kind of changes it, doesn't it? The council is gathering. The adversary comes. Where have you been? Oh, that part of my mind has been in and amongst the conditions and the circumstances and the things. And then our higher consciousness says, well, have you considered this aspect of my consciousness that has it all? Everything's in place. Everything's in divine right order. Everything is perfect. Everything, this part of the consciousness that is privileged doesn't have to consider anything harsh or has never struggled because everything is in order. Anybody have that part of your life? Maybe not your whole life, but that part of or maybe a period in your life where it was like, yeah, everything was good then. Man, I did not have to worry. Maybe it was when you were a kid because your parents had it all handled, right? But we've all, at some point in our circumstance, have had that moment, right? And so this is the context that God says, have you considered this aspect of my consciousness? And Job seems to confirm this formula that we often think about and sometimes teach in New Thought traditions, he said, which says if you live rightly, then life will go rightly. If you hold the right consciousness, then the right conditions will follow. Job is not merely blessed, he's evidence of the spiritual system. But the adversary says, but does Job revere God for nothing? Meaning, but Job doesn't just do this all of this reverence, all of this praying, all of this praising of God for nothing, right? Isn't it because of all the privilege and the wealth and the access and the circumstances that he has? And what if some of those things changed? Would he still think of God the way that he does? Would our relationship with the divine still be whole, perfect, and complete if our perfect situations and circumstances changed? Or even better, if Job is in this particular way, as I've been thinking about it, because I've had this time on my hand, thinking about the New Thought movement itself, considering justice, cultivating a consciousness of justice, and we enter into this sort of Job moment of consciousness where historically where we have been, we haven't had to think about it prior. Is that making sense? The New Thought movement, at least historically, not necessarily in this church, because I know you guys are so justice activated here, which I love, and it's part of why I'm here. But New Thought historically has not had to think about, these conditions and these circumstances and these things, and it's been in kind of a privileged state. And so this moment is the moment that we all, I think, as people traversing our own awareness, come across when we have to intersect with well, what about I have this sort of awareness that God is good all the time, all is well, everything in my life is perfect, it's the flowing of the divine, and it's all good, and I get to, manifest my princes, princesses, parking places, and palaces, and, got it all moving in the right direction. And then that moment comes, yeah, but what if? And what happens when? It doesn't all look that way. And we consider these conditions, these circumstances, these situations. And so here we are. And we'll see you next week. No, I will. We'll do a little bit more. And so, the adversary may represent that cross-examined functioning within our consciousness, the voice that will not allow an untested belief to masquerade as truth. The adversary asks, does the principle only work when you're prospering? Is your faith dependent upon getting the demonstration that you wanted? Is your understanding of God large enough to survive a diagnosis or a loss or an injustice or an unanswered prayer? Can you love the divine without treating God as a cosmic vending machine? We just put in the right prayer and pull the lever, and D3, yep, that's the one we want. Just put in our stuff, and then it gets stuck and it's hanging there. Banging the machine. But I did the prayer right. I did all the right things. And so what follows in the story of Job is an absolutely horrifying scene. It's a poetic book, and so it goes on and on and on, and we're not going to get into all of that. You can thank me later for that. Read it on your own. But Job loses his prosperity, his property, his security, his children, his standing, his health. He loses everything. He and his wife, by the way, lose everything. His children die. His health fails. And he finds himself sitting among the ashes, it says, scraping the wounds of his body. His wife comes and says, why don't you just curse God and die? Which requires a whole sermon in and of itself to unpack that. Right. I know. It's just like, heck, hell, excuse me. I thought you were on my side. But what she's saying is, this isn't working for you. And, sometimes we need a partner who can come along and say, by the way, this thing that you're doing, I know you think it's working. It's not working for you. Why don't you move on? And Job says, no. I have to be righteous, and I have to stay in this state of awareness. And, I think my friends are coming. And that's where the story gets really interesting. You see, I think for New Thought, in order to hold a vision of wholeness and justice, we have to, like Job, sit with injustice. Look at it on us and around us and sit with it. His friends come. His friends. I'll get to that part in just a moment. But the question becomes in this book about this web of relationships that we participate in. That we live in many fields of causation, because his wife questions him, this isn't working for you, and why are you still in this space? But we have our families, our cultures, our patterns, our economic structures, our political decisions, the environmental conditions, all of these different things that contribute to circumstances and conditions in our life. We participate in a vast web of relationships. We are not individually omnipotent. We may believe as people of faith that there is an infinite intelligence and that we are one with it. And I don't know about you, but I sometimes forget what I'm shopping for between my car and the entrance to the store that I'm shopping for the thing. And I don't think you caught me. We may believe there is an infinite intelligence and that we are one with it, but sometimes I forget why I've come to the store between the parking lot and the front door. And so we're not individually omnipotent, but there is an infinite intelligence. But we have to contemplate this relationship with it. We are being asked, I think, right now to sit among the ashes, to consider the family of Nolan Wells, to consider his mother, to consider the circumstances by which his family had to hire their own independent investigator and autopsy report and all of the things in order to say, what is happening here? Because the justice system doesn't seem to be serving any justice. Or to consider the many black bodies that are being found over the last couple of years hanging from trees and the justice system calling them suicides. I don't know how you get up into a tree and put a rope around your neck and fall on your own without somebody else helping you. And so there's a lot of things. Those are just a few things. I don't know what's on your mind. Those are just some things that are on my mind. And then Job's friends arrive, and we have to wrap this up soon. We'll have next week. But I got to tell you about his friends, because they're a piece of work. His friends arrive and they come to see him, and when they see him from afar, they see him from a distance, and they hardly recognize him because he's been through hell and back, and his body is covered in boils and all of this stuff that has happened to him. And so they see him, they can hardly recognize him, they weep, they tear their clothes from their body, they rub dirt on their heads, and they fall to the ground, and then they come to him, and they sit on the ground, and no one speaks. For 7 days. And for 7 days, his friends get it right. For 7 days, they don't explain, they don't diagnose, they don't tell Job to look for the blessings, they don't ask him what is happening in his consciousness to bring this about on him. They don't hand him a book with recommendations or tell him about a podcast they've been listening to, right? They sit with him. His friend's greatest ministry is their presence before certainty. Presence before certainty. But then, after 7 days, Job begins to lament. He begins to curse the day he was born. He begins to give voice to his own despair, to all of his feelings, his confusion, his grief, his protest. All of this stuff begins to come up and out of him after these 7 days. And Job's pain threatens their theology. Job's pain and Job's authentic voice of what he's going through and what he's sitting with, what he's seeing, threatens their preconceived notions of how it all works, because that's what his friends, both metaphysically and structurally in the story, represent. Because they come forward, and I'll very quickly go through the rest of it now. Right, they simply begin to talk to him, and each one of them takes a turn, and I don't remember which one did which. You can look it up, but they say, "Well, surely you must have said something to bring all of this about into your life. Surely you must have done or said something that must have upset God. You must have, or maybe your children, they must have sinned somewhere in their life. You must have sinned somewhere in your life. You must have done something to bring this about, because the universe is a just universe, and surely these things didn't just happen to you." And Job says, "Shut up." And then the next friend takes his turn. That's translation, by the way. And then the next friend takes a turn, and the next friend says, "Well, it's done according to your thinking, and so maybe you didn't do something, but maybe you thought something. Maybe something is in your consciousness. Maybe you're harboring something deep down inside that you don't even realize it's there in your subconscious. Have you had your tarot cards read? Have you looked into it? Have you considered the stars? Maybe the day you were born, And then the third friend says, the ancestors have always been right. You should consult with the ancestors. And this is the way our theology has always thought about these things, and they're never wrong. And so you must be the one who's not right." Job's presencing of his pain and his angst upsets their preconceived notions of how to answer injustice in the world. Which means what for us today? It means when we take the time to sit and just be present with the injustice and the pain in the world, it can upset the preconceived notions in our own consciousness that say, well, it must happen because of this, it must be because of that, it must have to do with. And the lesson in Job is it doesn't have to do with any of those things, because the invitation is not to resolve. The invitation is to just be present. What happens if you just take time to be present and forget all of your fancy ways of answering it? Forget all of your books and learned classes and things that you've done, but to just be, I don't know about you, but I've gone through some things in my life, and I, like Job, just want people to be present and keep their mouth shut. Don't say anything. Just be with me right here. Don't tell me why you think it happened. Don't tell me somebody you know who's gone through worse. Don't explain it away. Just be present. Because that's the hardest thing to do in the midst of injustice. And if we're contemplating justice, if we're courting the presence of the divine and a relationship with justice, then everything that's unlike it is going to come forward, and we're going to have to sit with it. And we're going to have to say, do we have preconceived, pre-structured answers for addressing all of these things? Or do we have the capacity to just sit with them? See, Job's friends would rather condemn the person in front of them than consider the theology inside of them. They'd rather find a reason on the outside to blame for the circumstances and conditions than to think about their own thinking. And so we're invited to turn that around and begin to turn it upside down and to begin to just be with what's inside of us, what rises up as those quick answers. And instead say, how can I participate in my healing, rather than how did I create my illness? To affirm that I have spiritual agency, rather than you're responsible for everything that happened to you. The invitation to transform thought becomes a demand to deny our grief. The practice for looking for possibilities becomes pressure to call injustice divine order. We may tell ourselves that we're offering spiritual truth while the suffering person hears, your pain is the evidence against you. See, sometimes our principles can become cruel when they're used to explain someone else's suffering. And perhaps the deepest temptation is not simply that we want to blame Job, but that we want to reassure ourselves. You see, I don't know, I got to wrap it up. And I got you next week too. Please come back. You see, but I got to get through this part because it sets up the next part. If Job secretly caused his suffering, then we can avoid it by being more spiritual than Job. If Job failed to hold the correct consciousness, then our correct consciousness will protect us, it seems. Blame gives us the illusion of control. But compassion asks us to surrender that illusion. Compassion asks us to sit down in the ashes. And Job refuses the verdict. Job will not confess to something that he did not do. He argues, he questions, he laments, he demands an audience with God. He wants his day in court. Job refuses to protect his theology at the expense of the integrity of his experience. He won't deny the reality of his felt experience for some preconceived notion of how or why it happened. And so, we are brought to the table today. I've got to skip way down. We may not personally experience poverty, but something within us cries out when children are hungry. We may not personally be targeted by unjust laws, but something within us recognizes the violation. We may not personally be displaced by war or fire or flood or famine, but something within us wants shelter and safety for those who are. Why? Because justice is in our DNA, just as it is in the DNA of Job. There's an impulse towards justice and as evidence of our spirituality. When I was a teen growing up in New Thought churches, we were often asked as a group, if you were to have a day in court, judged as on trial for being a New Thought person, would there be enough evidence to convict you? I always loved that question. Would there be enough evidence? Would there be enough demonstration in your life? And so I believe this moment that New Thought finds itself is back in court. Its principles are being cross-examined by the suffering of the world, and perhaps we've spent too much time trying to win the case through argument, like Job's friends. Perhaps what the world needs is not another explanation, but it needs evidence. Evidence of our belief in oneness, that no one is disposable. Evidence that our belief in divine potential causes us to challenge every structure that denies that potential. Evidence that our affirmative prayer does not silence lament, but that it gives it gives context for courage to become born. Evidence that we can hold spiritual agency without assigning spiritual blame. Evidence that when people are suffering, we know how to sit in the ashes before we stand over their judgment. Evidence that love is more than just an idea. What if the voice inside of us as we look out onto the world and say this and this and this must change is not the voice that God is absent, but is actually the voice of God as present. Present as our compassion, present as our courage, present as our refusal to look away, present in the people who feed and shelter and organize and advocate and heal and vote and march and repair and build. And yet, we do not know why every suffering occurs. We do not yet know why sometimes it seems the divine is silent. We do not know what God will say from the whirlwind, which we'll talk about next week. But the mystery remains. This much we do know from this chapter of the story. We can listen. We can believe people's testimony. We can refuse to blame them for their wounds. We can affirm their divine identity. We can challenge conditions that deny their dignity, and we can become conscious participants in their transformation. And so I encourage you and everyone here, especially those who might be feeling like you're going through something and you don't know why it's occurring. You don't know how you got there. And you're wondering if you had something to do with it. But deep down inside, you know that that's not the case. I want you to know that there is a presence that will sit with you. There is a community that will sit with you. There's a compassion that will sit with you. Not to explain it away, not to try to justify this aspect or that aspect, but to simply sit with you. And then allow justice to flow from that space. We learn much later in the story that Job becomes doubly blessed in every aspect of his life. And there's still a journey in consciousness we need to take to get there. We'll discuss more about that next week. Right now, let us just pray. Take a breath with me. Let us affirm and know that there is a world that is seeking our presence, our compassion, our capacity to sit with it. Not with our preconceived notions of what is right and what is wrong and who is right and who is wrong, but to simply be right here and right now. To court and contemplate the divine idea and to allow everything that comes with that to come forward. And to not be moved, but to simply be still and to know. God is in this too. The divine is in this too. Love is in this too. There is room in this for compassion and charity and justice. There's room in this for the mystery to move into divine right order. And that room is made by our presence and our willingness to stay open long enough to receive it. So for this and so much more in this day, in this work, in this continued unfolding of this story, in your part and my part in it, and the world at large, I give thanks. I give thanks. I feel something moving in me and as me right now. I bless it, I give thanks for it, and I simply allow it to be. And so it is. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Thank you. I got through like half the notes, so. Which always happens. You know, Reverend Lisa asked me to do the 2 weeks. I said, I'll do a two-part series. And about halfway through it, I was like, David, you know, and some of you know, you have a propensity to give like 40-minute sermons. You know you could just write one sermon, and it would be more than enough for 2 weeks. But I know I had to do two parts. So we'll get to the rest of it next week, and I promise it'll take off from where we started. Right now it's our time to collect our tithes and offerings. I'm so grateful for this community, for our opportunity to be in divine love and circulation to support this space. There's all the many wonderful ways to do it easily on our phones. Baskets will come by in just a moment. Text, QR codes if you're into such a thing, and of course mail and the website and all of that good stuff too. So know that this is a place that is doing this work. This is a place that is presencing that divine love and compassion in the midst of circumstances. It's doing the justice work. It's why I and my family are here. It's why we love this place and we love Reverend Lisa. And you know, as a guest minister, I have to tell you this, one of the things, and as a former senior minister, one of the greatest ways that you can show that you love and appreciate a community when the senior minister isn't there is by showing up more and by, if you can, have the capacity to even give more when they're away. It's one of the, right? Where they come back and they say, attendance was up, money was up, right? Because it says that you are here for the long haul, you're here for the work, you're here for the teaching, not the personality. And as much as ministers get, you know, we're in this weird relationship where, you know, yes, we want you to like us and all of that, but we want you to be here for more than the personality. So this is your opportunity to demonstrate that in this giving as we bless all of our tithes and offerings that come to us this day. And we bless it with these words. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
Under rich, relentless skies, I've been setting high. I felt you walk right through me. You're the thing that I invoke, my all-persistent goal, sent to make me crazy. And oh, it's hard now with time. It works out. To be human is to love, even when it gets too much. I'm not ready to give up. To be human is to love, even when it gets too much. I'm not ready to give up. All the tigers have me now. I don't care, I hear them growl. I let them tear right through me. Can you help me not to care? Every breath becomes a prayer. Take this pain from me. And oh, you're so far now, so far from my arms now. To be human is to love, even when it gets too much. I'm not ready to give up. To be human is to love, even when it gets too much. I'm not ready to give up. To be human is
Thank you.
Thank you, music team. Isn't it a beautiful day? Great message, great music. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. It's time to welcome our kids in, but before we do that, hang on. Before we do that, I have another quick announcement to make. So, Elizabeth Santana is going to be out at the desk today. We have the wonderful opportunity in October. We are going to host Unity's Regional Retreat, which brings in all the ministers and board members from all of the Unity churches in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to have over 100 people here for 4 days, and we need some volunteers to help make this happen. Elizabeth is going to be out at the desk. If you're interested in participating, helping us out with this, go talk to her and see what she's got for you. I appreciate that. Okay, let's sing in the kids.
You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you. You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you.
My name is Jonah, and today we went on an imaginary bike ride, and then we wrote about what we did on our imaginary bike ride, and everybody's holding up their what they wrote now. And we were celebrating my family today. This is my dad, Jeremy.
Okay. Oh, wait. Is this close enough? Yeah, that works. Okay. My name's Pippa, and I went to Unitreat. I had a lot of fun meeting people that I saw last year in the fall Unitreat and meeting new people. And all the, there's this God walk. The food was pretty good. And there was a lot of cool activities like this ropes course and, going to the river and creek, and I really recommend it. It was a lot of fun, and I got, to hang out with a lot of cool people.
There's a sign up downstairs that's rotating around for next week. Come and find Barbara if you can help her out with the lunch next week for bringing some food. Yeah, they know that. Fundraiser, Youth Ed. Be aware. Okay, now everybody stand. We're going to sing the peace song together.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Awesome. Have a great week. We'll see you downstairs.
I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and I shine.